a desert crabapple, which will do well in this climate and eventually give me fruit. I have elderberry, and there's two of them, one over there and one here. I have 3 wild black cherries, and they're all growing well. And then I have Saskatoons.
What are Saskatoons?
Saskatoons are a sarvice berry.
Right.
They taste similar to a blueberry, but they're a natural pectin. So if you're going to make jelly or jam out of your other fruit, you mix it with the Saskatoons and then it will set up
Great.
without using pectin.
Awesome.
They also are very high in antioxidants. They're very good for you. You can dry them and put them in your cereal, add them to cakes or muffins. You can eat them fresh.
So, you've mentioned five different trees and several different bushes. This is a tiny, tiny space. How will they be able to grow together and not interfere with each other?
Okay, well, they're all natural shrubs. The Dogo crabapple is naturally a shrub, not a tree.
Right.
So all of these are shrubs. So they will eventually grow up and form a hedge. So
Okay.
they'll be thick like a hedge. They grow from 6 to 10 feet tall. So they will intertwine with each other.
And I guess
this is the natural world. This is how they grow in the forest.
Right.
And all of these are Native American plants. And that's how they grow in the forest, is all together and intertwined with each other.
So the image that we have established in our mind as children about having a tree and a large circle around it and don't plant anything with it goes against the grain of nature because things grow together and grow with each other.
This is right. You want your things to grow with each other because they help to support each other. This is a very windy country, and if you have just a single shrub, it's not going to thrive because it's going to be too windblown. So you need them close together so that they'll form that hedge and support each other.
Great, great.
So over here I have sweet cherries, which are also a shrub, and I have sand cherries. So the sweet cherries are a dark black sweet cherry, just like a Bing cherry that you would buy at the grocery store. The sand cherries are a pie cherry.
A little tartar.
A little tartar. So I have 2 different kinds of cherries growing down the center of this row with the beans in front and the sunflowers in back. Once the shrubs grow up and become bushy, then I won't have the beans or the sunflowers out here. But for this year, I wanted to utilize the soil. And I put the sunflowers there. Not only are they just very happy and beautiful, but they will provide seed for my animals.
Will you just, what they call chop and drop your beans, or will you actually make use of the beans?
I will make use of the beans. And what I can't use, I will be donating to the Senior Citizen Center and food banks.
Okay.
Because I have more beans planted than what my husband and I are going to be able to use. So I usually give about 50% of what I raise in my garden away.
Right. Well, that's beautiful. It's amazing that you've made use of the space and you have things growing now that will just nurture the soil, and when the other things take their place, everything just kind of goes in a cycle.
On a 3-year plan, I will be producing enough fruit in this front yard that I won't have to buy any berries or fruit at the grocery store.
Great. From those young berry plants, you're going to have berries in 3 years.
Yes.
That's amazing.
And the hard part is being patient for 3 years.
Well, now, you've only been here for a year and a half, and I have this question. How did you get that forest in the corner of your house?
My forest is artificial Christmas trees
Oh, no!
and artificial trees like you see in insurance offices and doctor offices. I spent $150 on my forest. I did it because you need to feed the spirit and the soul as well as your body. So I really miss the mixed conifer forest in North Idaho, where everything grows thick and bushy. And here in the Southwest, things grow, but not thick and bushy and intertwined.
Right.
So I have 19 different trees here, and they represent all the trees that I grew up with. I have the blue spruce, and I have the Norway spruce, and I have the Sitka spruce, and I have fir trees, and I have Scotch pine trees, and I have an Engelmann spruce, and I have ponderosa pine, and
folks,
peeking through here from the other side, I actually have pussy willows.
it's all artificial.
It's all fake.
But it's beautiful. In the land where we live that is so common with drought.
And I
The
probably,
first time I saw this, I was like, how did she get that forest to grow there? And then I realized when you walk upon it, yes, it's artificial, but you know something? It just seems to nurture a dry soul around here.
and that's what it's for, is to feed the soul.
Right.
And it also provides screening for my patio and outside eating area, which is on the other side. From the street, you would never know.
Right.
And
I actually was here the other day when a woman came up and asked you, are those real?
yes. And so then, just to feed my whimsy, because I have a creative mind, I have my fairy garden here. And I had a small fairy garden last year, and my neighbor lady, who was elderly across the street, loved it. I wasn't going to do it this year, and she said, oh, I've been waiting for the fairies to come out. So here is the fairy garden again. And it's in a little bit of disarray today because I had children here playing with it the other day. So they've rearranged some of the stuff, and the fairies haven't come out and fixed it
The
yet.
fairies have not cleaned house yet.
Yeah.
Well, this is awesome. It's a very nice, light-hearted corner of your property. And it's like you said, it feeds the soul.
It feeds the soul. So this is the inside of my artificial forest in my outdoor eating area.
It's very cool. The temperature is cooler here.
It's cooler, but notice how peaceful it is here from how it was out in the front yard. And this is where I sit and read my scriptures. This is where I sit and say my prayers to Great Spirit. I sit and do my meditations here. When someone asks me for a healing blessing, this is where I sit and say my prayers to know what to do.
And it's really quite a confined up. There's a point that says go to your prayer closet.
Yes.
And this is very much a type of prayer closet. It's very much broken away from the business in the house or the busyness of the street.
Right.
It's very quiet, comfortable.
And
Very nice.
I've made it look as natural as possible. We do eat out here quite often, and we visit with people out here quite often. The artificial forest protects us from the wind and also from visibility of people going up and down the street. So that's what makes it very peaceful. I just needed a space here because I'm used to living out in the country. And here I live in town with people all around me, so I needed a space where I felt like I was in the forest. And these artificial trees have done it.
They've done it. And in the meanwhile, you're growing quite a forest out back.
I am growing a forest out back. Let's go look at it. This here along the side of my house, I have my flowers growing. I started most of these from seed. This I did by plants, but they've just multiplied.
Wait. We just left the artificial garden over there.
Well, this is a
And
real garden.
These are real.
These are real.
Well, they're beautiful. I actually thought this was artificial.
And
also.
these are for my husband. He loves the columbine, so every year I plant columbines for him.
I've never known anybody who could grow a wild columbine.
And this is my herb garden. This is a raised bed made from the old weathered wood that you gave me, Teresa.
Ah, well, it looks totally different here.
It does look different, and it's got a whole new purpose in life. It has new life for probably a good 10 years. All of this is filled with compost that I made myself. And I have some plants here, and then I have seeds planted that aren't up yet. But the whole bed is planted, and by the end of summer, I have culinary herbs and medicinal herbs.
How much shade does this area get a day? That soil looks really moist.
I did water it today. It is in the shade now at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So it doesn't get the afternoon sun, it gets the morning
Right,
sun.
that's really good for herbs.
And then through here, you can see,
I love the bed parts.
yes, recycled.
There are bed parts all over this place.
Yes, recycled, recycle, recycle. Here is my orchard and garden, and the fence again is the pallet wood fence, like the front yard, all 3 pallets. These wire trellises are off of grocery store display shelves that were given to me, and I have used parts of them as trellises and parts of them as gates. So these are the shelves that you buy your potato chips off of.
Swinging doors.
And I have swinging doors big enough to get my garden wagon in. These beds also are made from the wood that you gave me, Teresa. And I have 4 large garden beds here. Over here in the first one, I have cabbages. And what is today? Like the 12th of June, and I have cauliflowers.
When did you plant those?
I planted those in March.
And are you planting on a rotational cycle, like you'll plant in this bed and you'll come back and plant again now in the fall?
I will plant again in the fall, and because I have cabbages and cauliflowers over here now, in the fall I'll actually put beets over here. Right now I have beets here. And these are just the dark red beets for my own consumption. This fall I will be planting the beets for animal consumption, which are the yellow beets. And down here I have summer squash, and then I have cucumbers to go up the trellis. And I have carrots in here. I have replanted where they didn't come up. This actually is my one parsnip that grew.
Now you've used the raised bed for primarily for your root plants?
Yes. Yes,
Because
the
I
carrots.
notice you've got some ground beds out here too. So your raised beds, you decided that your root plants needed to be in there. Why is that?
Because this soil had nothing done to it for 13 years. It was a vacant lot. And it was full of garbage, and the soil is very hard and compacted. We also have what they call caliche here, which is a calcium in the soil that makes the soil hard like cement. Root crops have a very hard time growing in it. So these raised beds are full of compost that I made myself. And it's loose. You can see it has all this wood chip in it. And it's very light and fluffy.
Really nice.
And so the root crops will be able to grow and mature. So I should have nice round beets and nice long straight
okay, now this
carrots.
is twice you've told us compost that you made yourself.
Yes.
And I'm going to be asked, how did you make the compost?
Well, I made the compost out of animal manure and wood chips and composted food.
Right.
I bring home a lot of coffee grounds that I get at Starbucks, at my local Starbucks. So I have a lot of coffee grounds and tea leaves and composted weeds and straw.
So this is awesome because this is not soil at all.
It has a little bit of soil in it.
But not much.
But not much. Mostly it's just compost.